Here we are again. All how many of us? All 14 of us. Wow. 17 of us. Fantastic. All right. So I'm using a new service uh, to stream this, and I'm not sure how everything's going to work. But the reason is because of the internet being poor in my area for the last week. And also because I like to be able to bring people in. And today on our show, we're going to have Bum Gun Chuck coming in and also the soy dog. So basically, we want to keep it uh, virus free here today. Maybe at the end, we can say a few moments about what's going on or whatever if somebody really wants to. But, I was thinking about it, and it's like it's all we ever think about, all we ever talk about. And there are other things to think about and to talk about. And today, what I want to talk about is our fond memories. Uh, if you're an American from the United States during 4th of July, and also uh, whether you're American or not, uh, from Thailand, your memories, fond memories from Thailand. I know a lot of people want to get back, uh, and I hope that the Phuket sandbox things ramp up. Um, so far, there's an average of about a little more than 400 people a day, which is not going to cut it really. But something's better than nothing, I guess. And like I said, I hope that when more people see that things are not that bad, they'll start booking their flights, and maybe in August and September the numbers will really go up. So I'm hoping that that happens because I do think we need to learn to live with this, and I think we need to get on with life, man. If you think about it, this what's going on is entrenched in everybody's lives around the world, no matter what you're doing. And very few people are at a point where they're back to what was once considered normal, which I tend to think that normal is really only normal is basically a bit of a bit of a fallacy. There's only really what is at any given time in our perception of what is. And for the past 18 months, this has been the hot topic. This, if people still had their jobs, this would be what was being talked about at the water cooler, albeit socially distanced. And I was thinking about it. This is kind of like a real life blob. This is the blob of our generation. If anybody remembers the movie The Blob with Steve McQueen, this is the blob. Um, it's decimated just about anything it's come into contact with. It's caused all kinds of problems and grief, and uh, let's hope that eventually we'll mop it up, kind of like the Exxon Valdez spill. Uh, it'll never be completely eradicated, but we can learn to live with it, and I think we can do better than where we are right now. It's just a matter of time. It's going to take time. So I'm looking forward to that, and I've been really thinking about um, why is it I'm not really going out right now? Why am I not going anywhere? And then I think to myself, well, there's a number of reasons. As Jono likes to say, the juice is not worth the squeeze. There's not many places that I am dying to go to. And if I am, they're probably closed anyway. Going out of the province is still problematic because it really depends on what happens when you cross over the provincial line, whether you're flying, whether you're taking a boat or a bus or whatever. Um, so it's a little bit difficult at the moment, but I'm going to move this over a little bit here. Let's see. Let's put it over here. A little bit better there, I think. Uh, I do think things are going to get better, and I think that even though they're going to get worse here before they get better, I think that in the near future, I think by the end of the year we should see some progress. And I'm hoping that after I get my second shot, the Moderna comes in, the Pfizer comes in, and then all of a sudden people start getting it, getting these. They don't mind paying, which I could have waited, but maybe I should have. I don't know, but um, and then there's a lot I want to do, and I've been thinking about it, and some of the things that I've been doing lately. The commentaries. All right, I like them once in a while. They're all right. The editorials, but I need to do them somewhere from somewhere. The problem is now you can't even sit anywhere. It's like I go to the mall and I'm like, all right, so I got my groceries here. I'm not ready to go home. I want to have a coffee. And what I have to do basically, and I haven't been doing it much lately, is I'll go in, get the coffee. I'll stand there for a few minutes, talking to the whoever's there. And there's almost nobody in the place. There's almost never anybody in the place. And then I'll either walk outside and sit down and drink my coffee, or I'll just go inside and I'll have my basket or whatever, and I'll just, you know, it's being manufactured. However, there is a delay. Supposed to be 10 million doses, but only 5 million are available. There's some problems with production, some delays, and so it's going to be another month for that. And what I'm hearing from through the grapevine is that the Moderna and Pfizer, you're supposed to get it in October or November, but some people are saying as long as 6 months. I mean, I really have a problem with how it's panned out. I understand the government doesn't want to pay for everything. It's very expensive. It's more expensive. And who knows? I don't know how much the government has. I would think that they are capable of paying for whatever they have to pay for. However, for right now, we're going to have to wait. And it's a shame because I think there's a lot of people out there that are more than willing to pay. I think it works out to 1,700 baht a dose. And yeah, I wish they would have got their act together sooner. And that's the only way I can put it. I personally think they just didn't have their shit together. They didn't want to pull the trigger. They didn't want to let the hospitals allow they didn't want to let the hospitals buy these without going through the government, and then the government, it's there's a lot of red tape, and so it didn't get done. Hey Scott, do you think Thailand will ever see past visitors and tourist numbers? But not for a number of years. And I think that a lot of foreigners who have been coming here, they don't forget. This is one thing that the Thais, they seem to think that this place is the most magical place on earth and people are dying to come here. Yes, there are people that are dying to come here. However, there are also people who remember things like being called dirty Farang and just how they're treated in general. And I think that some people, and there are a number of people that I've talked to, they're just like, man, I'm sick of it. There are guys that have been here 25, 30 years that I know, and they're like, at the first chance, I'm out of here. So, and I read, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I read something that somebody had written about how he was going to go to Ecuador, of all places. And he's like, why do I need to be here when they're going to treat me like a second class citizen? When I go over there, I'm there for 3 years and I am a citizen, you know. YouTube banned RSBN. I don't know what RSBN is. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. And I don't know what that has to do with the context of what we're talking about here. The numbers are up now. We want to try to steer away from this subject, but I'm waiting for let's see here. I'm waiting for Bum Gun Chuck and also the soy dog. And they should be on shortly. So let me send them both a message here. Yeah, the people that are dying, the number of infections are increasing, and there's a few cases here and there. And like I said, I think we have to learn to live with this. But I do think the vaccinations are very, very important, and I think that this shortage is really hurting. Uh, it's really hurting the people and really hurting the country. Johnny, how you doing? Everybody, how you doing? How you doing? Um, Today there was almost 6,000 people considered infected, and I believe it was 41 deaths, which is actually kind of low considering that uh, there was 61, I think, the other day, and the numbers have been gradually increasing. Anyway, it's 4th of July here, which obviously to Thais it doesn't really mean anything, but to Americans, uh, it does. You know, it's as simple as that. We care, even with all the problems going on, even with me not liking the president, which fair play. A lot of people didn't like Trump. Um, I don't like this president, and I certainly don't like the vice president. I can't stand her. But that doesn't take away from the fact that America is still where I was born. It's my country, and it'll always be my country. Your third Moderna shot, just a little sore, nothing major. What is that? A booster? How'd you manage that? The third shot. All right, let's see if we're let's see here. Suggest a layout. Oops, no, I don't need to suggest a layout. I need to look at other. Here we go. Is this going to work? Enabled for 2 to 4 participants. So this is new. This software that I'm using. I'm trying to get up to speed with it. I'm waiting for, like I said, for Bum Gun Chuck, Chubby Nick Nolte to come in, and also the Soy Dog, who said he would be a little bit late. But happy 4th to you, Mr. Gennaro. Appreciate it. Oh, by the way, it's the 4th, and you have until the 5th. You get 10% off of all T-shirts and mugs if you use the code Heatwave. Heatwave. So be sure to check it out. Links down in the description. I believe I even put the code down in the description. Now, let me see something else here because I want to put up this new. And YouTube has to approve everything that goes up. They have to approve. So if you put a shirt up, they have to approve it, and it takes anywhere from a day to like 5 days. All right, let me see here. It's still under review. All right, whatever. I'm sure you researched how evidence of DNA manipulation. Harley Hub, I'm not here about any conspiracy. I don't want to talk about this shit, really. I really don't care. I don't give a shit. And I don't care what anybody says or how listen. I'm I'm doing what I got to do for me, and everybody has their own choice. So, if you don't want to get a shot, if you want to get a shot, whatever you want, that's Fine with me. It really doesn't matter. You keep clicking the link, but well, oh, come on, man. Hang on a second. Let me see here. One moment, please. How's the quarantine? It's baby. Right now, it's baby. This is baby. All right, let me see if I can get this. It's the same link. Trying to get Chuck in here. This is why the streams always take longer, because we always have technical issues. Let's see here. Gennaro, don't blow yourself up. I've been in ASQ my whole life. Yeah. All right. So anyway, I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know, if you're not American, what is your fondest memory? And you don't have to get too graphic, of being in Thailand. And if you're an American, what is your fondest memory of July 4th? Because I know specifically which one is mine in the United States. And it had nothing to do with barbecues or chicks and beer and big tits or something like that. Wow, it tells me when somebody arrives in the green room, Chuck Wow has arrived.
Yes, he has.
There he is. Chucky Wow.
Yeah, wow, man. Wow.
So this is the new service that I'm using.
Okay. It's different.
Well, a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost the same, though, really.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Huh? Yeah, get in the camera, in frame.
I know.
You know what? I know you're a radio guy, but learn what in frame is.
I know. I'm doing my background too.
Your background?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. That looks right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I want the globe in there too. But
just move over, will ya? I don't care about all that shit. Nobody else does. They just want to see your face and stop moving around like a bobblehead.
Yes.
All right. So how you doing there?
Well,
gunshot.
Everything's open, and everyone was partying last night like it's 1999. It was so crowded.
Stop bragging.
And no, that's what I'm not talking about. But
I know.
I didn't really have any alcohol in a year and a half, except for like a couple of beers here and there. So I have the worst hangover in my whole life.
All right, everybody fuck with Chucky now. He's got a hangover.
Because but I used to drink. I drank 6 beers. I drank that much before, and I never got a hangover. But this time, because I've been going so long without alcohol, I got severe hangover. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
Well, I don't drink that much either. And when I do, if I have 4, 5, 6 shots of tequila, that's a lot for me,
Oh, I've only had liquor 2 times in my life, and both times I threw up, so I can't have liquor.
Oh wow! So it tells me when people come in. It actually, you can hear it. It says "Soy Dog Cowboy has entered the stream." All right, let me put this in another way. How am I going to do this here?
This is a new. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. How you doing?
I'm all right. Well, I'm going to sneeze here.
You want to tell everybody about your once you're done sneezing, because then I want to tell everybody what happened. Let's see here. I'm just checking these out here. You want to tell everybody about your issues?
You mean the new issues? Not my whole life is an issue. Uh,
Well, we all got
I'm
issues.
looking at these controls on the bottom here. I'm trying to figure out what they are, um, and I have no clue. Um, but anyway, yeah, it's been between. I've had a bunch of torn retinas in my eye, which every time I go for a follow up, they find another one. So the last time I went, there were two more, but they were very small according to this, uh, retina specialist. So we cryo freeze those. They repair them two ways, either with a laser or cryo freezing. Um, and they're both not awful, to be honest. They're just it's like slight pain for very short, like seconds, really. Uh, but I'd rather not have it. But so I got that, and then I've suffered from atrial fibrillation for my entire life. So I went to see a specialist on last week, which I'm a candidate for this procedure that could stop it at least for a while. So I have to just decide if I want to do that. So that's been my adventure for the last for the
So
last couple of
what
weeks.
about your sight right now? Is it better?
Well, the tears are in my left eye, and the way you recognize that you've got an issue is you'll see a lot of floaters, more so than you've ever had before. Um,
Floaters.
and yeah, so I know
Sorry, but you know
exactly.
what that brings up? Connotations of,
Sounds like a porn movie.
it
Well,
sounds,
no, it
floaters
sounds like
sounds like, floaters in the toilet.
a toilet,
Oh,
exactly.
that too.
So yeah, so anyway, you know, what happens is when you tear the retina, sometimes you can cause little hemorrhages, and that's basically bleeding, and that goes into your eye, and obviously it floats in front of your eye. So there's like those, or like something that looks like a gray curtain, which I have. So that's still there, and that could take anywhere from weeks to months to sort of, subside. You may always have a little bit, but the major ones will subside. Problem is that I keep on getting new tears, so it doesn't give it an opportunity to do that.
Mhm.
So the vision is average. Right now I think it's like 20/40 out of my left eye, and my right eye is 20/30.
Well,
So
that's not bad.
no. I mean,
But
it's. I mean,
the floaters would bug me. You know,
yeah. It
do
bugs.
them.
It drives me nuts. It
That
drives
would,
me nuts.
yeah.
So
Does it tire you out?
yeah,
Does it wear you
you
out
know,
because you have to look through that, and it's like looking
it's,
through a bunch of glasses that are dirty.
It's a good way to describe it, and that's exactly what it is. So it's frustrating. It's like one thing after another. It's like these are the little things that happen as you get older, and they could only build up into bigger things.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to deal with it. I'm trying
So
to
when
think.
are you
Can
coming back to Thailand?
Well, that's a loaded question. Yeah, that's a good question, but there's a lot of things that depend on it to answer that. You know, I'm not going to come back unless Thailand's open, meaning I could come here, no quarantine, and move around the country freely. That
Right.
I don't know when that's going to be. I was hopeful that would happen in October. With this new variant that's out there, it's even affecting the United States now. Now it's not awful. The numbers have increased a little bit, but for the most part, if you've been vaccinated, you won't get hospitalized from that.
The
But you
Delta
can
you're
get it
talking
again.
about.
Yeah, you can get it again. Now, there's always going to be
Supposedly in
variants.
Bangkok, it's 80% of the people who are new infections are infected with the Delta variant.
Yeah, and it's not surprising. Look, it's no different than the flu when every year it's different. Like it's going to mutate as long as it has a place to live. It mutates. It's just
Yeah.
that's what a virus does. So that's not unusual.
All right,
But
I got a question for you though. I got a
Sure.
question. You're an American and you spend some time in Thailand, or you try to as much as possible. So
Hmm.
fondest memory of July 4th in the United States, and also fondest memory of just being in Thailand.
Huh. The fondest July 4th memory of the United States?
Do you have one?
Well, that's a good question. I could give you one. So this will show my age, to be quite honest. So at the bicentennial was in 1976,
Right.
and we had, I lived in, New York at the time. Now I was a teenager at that time, right? So 76, I was 13 years old, right? Um, so I was living on Long Island at the time, but the city did something called Operation Sail. And if you Google it, it'll show up. And Operation Sail was this event where they had these sailboats, massive ones, like, they're like pirate ships, but, and small ones from all over the world. And there were thousands of them, and they were all on the Hudson River. And then it was incredible. And then they had this massive, Macy's fireworks show, behind it, as these ships were going through. So that was pretty epic for America. Other than that, you just take off from work. That's the great thing, right? For Thailand, you know what? I have not been in Thailand on July 4th.
Well,
Because
anytime. I'm talking about your favorite memory of being in Thailand, because so many people talk about how they want to come back and they miss it, and yada yada yada, the whole shebang.
I have one thing that always stuck in my head, and it was the first trip I was to Thailand, and I was friendly with this guy. I'd become friends with a group of guys, and this one guy was getting married to a Thai girl, and right outside of Konkan, right? So they were going to have this pig roast for this, sort of like a celebration. It wasn't the wedding, it was just a kind of like a celebration. So we all got into this van, and we drove to Konkan, and they had this giant pig roast. They got a full pig, dug a pit into the ground, that had full of hot coals around and fire. They bury it, and then they put it on top. They had all these little tables around. Now, it's classic, like Farang buying a house, because all the houses in this little village were made like tin shacks, like almost like if you went through when you go down to I'm blanking, the poor place that you go to all the time. Where is that? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So all these tin shacks, and they and at the time, they didn't really see a lot of Americans, right, or Westerners. So they had all these tin shacks, except for the house he built for his in-laws, which was this beautiful white house. And the monks were up there, and they were blessing it. And they brought me around. This old lady was so fascinated with a Westerner that she dragged me from table to table and insists that I shake everyone's hands, because she thought that shaking hands was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like she just thought it was just hysterical. Like she would shake, like she'd physically take my hand, stick it in someone's hand that was around there, and then laugh hysterically, like, and she'd pump the hand up and down, and because, obviously everyone wise here. So, and I just remember that to this day. And it was a great memory. And she was just obviously a very sweet old lady. Didn't speak a lick of English. I didn't speak any Thai. But it was nice. It was a very real moment. And I
What's
really
funny is
enjoyed.
that what's funny is that you're not bringing up Pattaya.
Obviously my first time coming to Thailand, you damn right I went to Pattaya, and I went, I loved doing all that. As a young guy, I was,
Yeah. No, I understand, but it doesn't, like, listen, anybody can go. I remember when I had this girl, she had the biggest and the smallest little, and she did this to me. No, you don't hear that story. What you hear is you hear your interactions with the people, which is
Yeah, I
kind
mean that
of,
was well that for me that was really special.
intriguing.
But I'm not knocking. The first time you come to when you come there as a single guy, and you're bouncing around from Derme or going, which we've had this discussion how much I love that place,
Where?
and then
I don't know
and
that
the
place.
yeah. And and Nana Disco, and like just there was a whole thing you would do, and yeah, it was fun to do that. But there's nothing there that was unique or memorable necessarily. It was just fun. But that memory of going up to that village was really amazing,
Yeah.
and I love that. So, um, and then and I guess those are all the the good memories. I remember going to Kopipi at the time, and this was before the movie was released. And there was hardly anybody there. Like
Yeah.
it was great. So like traveling around, I just remember doing that and loving all of the places that I would go. And as a Westerner, when you got out of Bangkok, you were something different back then. So
Yeah.
the reactions were terrific.
Well,
Because they were so excited to meet you.
yeah. Yeah. They're very genuine. But Chuck, what about you?
For me, the most exciting things in Thailand are going to
No,
press.
not the most exciting things. Your fondest memories.
Well, same thing for me. My fond memories, because they were exciting, were going to
And
press
nothing sexual.
conferences at the Foreign Correspondents Club of Thailand, and also being in the room when Prayut did a coup. I snuck into the army headquarters, and I was in the room. It was only for ambassadors and deputy ambassadors, but I just went to it and I wore a suit, and they let me in because they thought I was part of from an embassy, and I was there when he announced that he was taking over the country. So just historical things, going to protests.
What
I
about
didn't protest,
fun?
but I
What
just
about
was like
fun?
walking by.
Fun things, Chuck. Fun.
Huh?
Fun.
Those things are very fun for me. That's big fun for me.
That's a little too serious. I mean, I've been to a lot of press conferences when I was involved in boxing, and I spent some time with a couple of generals and some people that were in charge. And I'm happy that I had those experiences, but I wouldn't call those my fondest memories. Those are decent memories. I mean, they're memories. That's really all they are to me. So you and I
Also
differ when it
live
comes to
aboard
that.
scuba diving.
Where'd you do that? Didn't you go to Indonesia and do that?
Oh, I've done it in the Philippines. I've done it in Great Barrier Reef. I've done it in Maldives, Thailand, and Myanmar.
Okay.
And I love that very much. But I love the press conferences more. And just getting to know people like at universities, like professors and really smart university students, and related to Foreign Correspondents Club of Thailand, just being around the movers and the shakers, the really smart people.
There's a difference between you and I. You were not a member of the press, and yet you wanted to go to the Foreign Correspondent Club of Thailand. I found it much too stuffy for my taste, and I didn't want to go there. And I was a member of the press. And aside from Myanmar and Cambodia, I've never been to the one in Thailand, and I didn't want to. Just by going to their website, talking to other journalists, and I just didn't feel like dealing with that. I didn't want to go and have to. I just didn't want to go through the whole rigmarole. If you went to there's really no FCC in Myanmar or Cambodia, but they are. I think the FCC in Cambodia, it's still called FCC, but it's more just a hotel and a restaurant. It's not really like a place where journalists hang out or anything. And I've been there many, many times. And the same with in Myanmar. It's not even called FCC in Myanmar. I don't even remember what it's called. But actually, Nanda, who Longhorns, and I have spent some time with, and I've known him for quite some time. That was one of the first places we went. It's like a British American kind of feel to the place, and the food was very, very good. But it's compared to like Myanmar prices, it's pricey. I mean, you might pay $10 for a burger there, where you can go down the street and get a bowl of what is it, mohinga, and
So
it'll cost you,
I've also
$1.25.
I've also met 5 Thai people in the royal family, and that was very fun for me. For me, it's like part of the history, just
Yeah.
getting involved with the city, getting involved with people, and also is these events. Thailand has a lot of drama. The politics have a lot of drama. So for me, I call it Dynasty,
Drama.
like the TV show Dynasty. So
Yeah,
I
I
feel
hate
like I'm
drama.
living inside the TV show Dynasty.
Yeah.
It's like very fun for
That
me.
shit,
Very exciting.
that doesn't fascinate me in the least, Chuck. Really.
Everybody likes different things.
Some of my best, yeah, of course. But some of my best experiences are sort of like cowboys. I mean, yeah, I met a couple of generals and spent considerable time. Went out to dinner with them, and talked at length with them about sports in Thailand and America, and just all kinds of things. And I really enjoyed that. And of course, there was the beginning when I was like, wow, this place is fantastic. All those are great memories. Some of the good memories when I was single and when I was just, roaming around. They're basically like when I went up to northern Thailand. If they all involve going to a place where I was basically an outsider, and I felt, like wow, this is something completely foreign to me. I'm really taking it in, and maybe my language skills were nowhere near what they are now. And it was like you, me. So what it was kind of like, just sign language and stuff like that. I went into the Golden Triangle, went on a long tail boat with a couple other people, like 3-4 other people. And then we stopped off in a village on the side of the river, and then they had elephants waiting for us. I gotta sneeze.
3, 4, 5, 6 sneezes.
Felt good though.
Yes.
But anyway, they had elephants waiting for us, and they took us into the hills, into the area that is the Golden Triangle, and we actually slept in this village. And people were walking around, ask us, "Do you want opium? You need any opium?" And I remember that. I was like, wow, that was a really enlightening trip for me, because that really put me in touch with just how foreign the country was to me. And I got a little taste of Myanmar at the same time. That was pretty interesting. That's one of my better ones. And also, just things that I did without my family, like I went to Myanmar, and the one place where the Rohingya were. That was pretty wild. But in Thailand, I mean, I've been all over, and so they all kind of just melt together. But like with my family, the cow soak trip we went on was great. Kokut, that place was fantastic. I mean, that was probably one of the nicer places that I've stayed, and it was, the beach was phenomenal. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it was phenomenal.
Oh, I remember that. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really nice. And one of the other places
I looked up I looked up the prices. I'll go there.
Crazy.
Like, we have pass.
They were crazy. And we had dinner up in the bird's nest, which was just a tree. They had a big platform up and there was a staircase going around the tree, and what they would do is they served you like a 5-course meal, and you got drinks, whatever you want, and then you watch the sunset. And that alone, I think, was for a family of 4 was something like $500, $600. It was crazy. I'm glad I don't have to pay for this. It was really, that was a memorable experience. And
I will say, of course, you can stay in Kalku for the viewers for a lot less.
Much less, yes.
That was a a 5-star resort.
Right.
But
yeah, that was pretty nice. I mean, I had a good time there. But one of the best places, the best times that I had, probably one of my more memorable times, and maybe some people remember it, but I went to Koh Chang. Koh Chang in the south, not in the east, which is what I always say. It's not the one where you go and it's near Koh Samui in that area. That's not the one. You got to go south, right, to Renong. And I went there. And by the way, it's not Koh Chang. It's not a Chang beer. Okay,
Chang.
let's get the pronunciation right.
Chang.
You know, yeah.
Well, it's also not. It's also not Ko.
It's Koh.
And also there's Chang
Chang.
Yet. Chang Yet. Chang Yet.
Huh?
Chang Yet.
I don't know what you're saying.
You don't know what Chang Yet means?
Well, I know what yet means.
What does it mean? Yeah, Chang Yet. Thai people say that all the time.
No, they don't.
It's like it's kind of
No,
like
they don't,
saying.
Chuck.
It's like saying.
Maybe in your circle they say that, but in my circle and like my family circle and people I know circle, they never say that.
Yeah, I never heard that before. But
That's you know,
some of the high so Thai people taught me that. It means kind of like F me in the ass, but like elephant. You know, it's kind of like sit on it and rotate. It kind of means like that. It means get F by an elephant. That's what it means.
Don't ever say that. Okay.
It's a way of saying to F off.
Yeah, don't say that. Most of the time they say I hear.
Yeah, that too.
Not that too. That's what they say most of the time, Chuck. I can guarantee
when
you.
I say Chang Yat, they all know what I'm talking about.
I don't doubt that, Chuck. What I'm saying, and don't argue with me on this one. Ahia is the prevalent swear word to tell somebody to fuck off. That is the phrase that people use.
I agree, but I like to have
hear it
something
all the time. Huh?
I like to use something unique.
Okay. Anyway, where were we?
Oh, by the way, Scott, one of the other great things about Thailand for me, and it's a very boring thing, but I have read about 35 books about Thai politics, Thai history, and Thai monarchy. So when I meet people that are like from Chulalongkorn University in political science, or when I meet, people in politics, they say, well, you know a lot about my country. So I know a lot of trivia stuff about the history of Thailand.
Yeah.
To me is a blast. You probably think it's boring, but for me it's fun.
I don't think that it's boring. I just think that I wouldn't call it fun. It's not like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm going to have a great time going to, instead of saying I'm going to say Koh Chang, I'm going to have a great time because I get to study this book and all about Thai history. No, it's icing on the cake. I have one book in particular that tells all about Southeast Asia. It's very, very good. And, I read it when I feel like reading about history. For you, this is what you like. So, I can understand you want to read and everything. Which brings me to another subject, which is whether or not you really need to know the language to know the culture. And, I had this discussion. We talked about this with the guy the other day who said, no, I don't believe that that's true. So I asked my wife and she goes, well, yeah, I mean, it's really, you can learn a lot about the culture just by watching. And I really thought about it. And I thought, yeah, she's right about that. However, to really get to know the culture, I think, in depth. And the thing is just what is in depth. And, it's all relative. It's all just, it's intangible. So it makes it very difficult to gauge. But if you really want to get a deeper knowledge, I think it is important to learn the language. Okay. Can you get by and be very happy living here without ever learning the language? Yes. But I would still say, and I have a video of this coming up. Barry, you know what? You need to shut up, dude. Okay? You really need to be quiet. You're not very nice, man.
You're a meanie.
Well, he's talking about you, and this is the second time he's been talking about you.
Do I have a troll? Well, I never had a troll.
You have a troll. Here it is, right here. Chuck is the kind of guy that makes people hate Americans.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's okay. Who cares? However,
people love me, and I feel loved and appreciated so much.
well, aren't you
in
lucky?
my life?
Now, I will say this, though. Barry, what the fuck is your problem? Seriously. Nobody's attacking you. Nobody's talking shit about you. And this chat is for subscribers only. So you're a subscriber. So I don't really want to delete you, but I will because, you're a bit of a cunt. So see you later.
Boom! He's gone.
Bye-bye.
You need a big explosion.
Funny,
This
Wow,
stream
that was
is
my first troll.
This
That was
stream
my
is
first
low
troll.
tech. It's not your first, but learning the language is a must. So many words do not translate. And to understand how they feel and think, you have to understand. I agree with that. I think it's a matter of relativity. Hey, LW, listen, when you go down the street, if you know already how to say, hey, how much is this? Hey, how you doing? Hi, how are you? Thank you. You know the basics. I think people they really like the fact that you are taking a little bit of time to learn some of their culture and you care enough to learn some of their culture. That in itself, I know guys who they know how to say go straight, go left, go right, how much. That's all they know how to say. I know a couple of guys who, I used to think their Thai was good, and now I think their Thai is dog shit. But it doesn't matter. This is the thing. For some people, it doesn't matter, and that's the point. Yes, it might help you, learn a few things, but some people don't give a shit. They don't have to know everything about Thailand. They just have to know, hey, can I pay my bill? Can I talk to a girl and she speaks pidgin English and I speak pidgin Thai and everything's copacetic? Yes. Wouldn't you agree there, Soy Dog Cowboy?
Yeah, look, I mean, do what you want to do. I mean, obviously, if you want to come here and live in Pattaya and not learn the language, and I know plenty of people who are doing that and they're having a great life,
right?
Do it. Go ahead. I like learning the language of a place where I'm going to spend, the amount of time I do, 6 months a year, plus it keeps your mind sharp, it keeps you busy. And once you can speak the language and understand it, it opens up a lot of doors that would be closed to you if you couldn't. So I think that it will enhance your stay in Thailand if you can communicate within the language itself. It's funny, there's a famous linguist that lives in Thailand, Stuart Raj, and he just did a video on this actually, on what, learning the language, why. But Thai people say that he speaks better Thai than the Thai people because he knows like the breakdown from Sanskrit, and it's crazy. Like with this guy, he's like a savant when it comes to this stuff. But I do think that if you are willing to take the time, you will have a better time than you're currently having if you learn the language.
Well,
I just think that.
Let me stop you right there. First of all, thank you very much, LW. Appreciate it. Choke D. Happy 4th to you. Now, what I was going to say, though, is that just the experience of learning the language, okay? And when I first came, I took a 20-hour class, and I only finished 10 hours. Because at the time, I was running around town, and I was, going to the bars, and I was out all night, and I'd wake up hungover. I'd have some chick in my bed, and I'd be like, and it's 9:30. I got to be there at 10 o'clock. Do I really feel like getting up? Or, hey, I still got the girl here with me. And then I go, I'll come in tomorrow. Is that all right? And then, yeah. And then, maybe I'd blow it off or whatever. I just didn't take it seriously enough. So I only took 10 hours. But I do remember that during that course, and also later on, I took a 20-hour course where the girl came to my house over there on Lot Proud by Waitangi Hospital. And the girl came, and I learned quite a bit. And it's the experience of communicating with them and talking about things that they that maybe they enjoy, or figuring out how they think, or whatever it might be. That in itself, and then trying to implement what you learn into your daily conversation with people, that you're dealing with. I think that's something else. And it's like, wow, you can do so much with just a little bit. You learn how to put together a few sentences, and all of a sudden it opens up a new world to you. And some people don't care. And I understand that. Listen, I know, you hear Longhorn says, I don't have the fortitude to learn Thai like Soy Dog Cowboy. I need to take a class and pay money and to make me do it. And COVID so far has postponed that. Actually, there are many online courses that you can take where you don't even have to go there, which, in fact, I probably will never go to a class again in a school, because I don't want to. I don't want to go back and forth in the traffic. Now, once the SkyTrain is finished here, maybe I would consider it, depending. But because I do think it's kind of important. But you can learn online.
When is that SkyTrain going to be done?
I heard a while back that it was going to be finished in July. They've made a lot of progress, but it's not going to be done this month. So I'm saying give it a year.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to last that long in this house, to be honest. But we'll see. Well, I mean, it's just, we want to move. We there's a lot of things we want to do, and the house it's an older house. It's still very comfortable. Even my wife said this the other day. She said, "Listen, the house is getting old. We're always having to patch things up and do things." We just had an electrical problem the other day where I had the oven going, and actually it's Chuck's old refrigerator. We had Chuck's old refrigerator and the oven plugged in. I'm cooking my my ground beef and my meatloaf, and I go in and the meatloaf's not done and the oven's off. I'm like, what happened? And then I notice, oh, electricity's out. Well, now the plug is out. It's burnt out. The whole plug on the wall doesn't work. And we burned out like a couple of the extension cords. So we got to get the electrician to come in and fix that. So anyway, all that, gets to be a bit of a hassle. But once the SkyTrain is done, I don't know. I mean, I'm very comfortable in this area. And so, this is the thing. We've grown old in this area. My wife and I, the kids have grown up in this area. They've been in this area their whole lives. They've never been anywhere else, So.
I think it's going to be heaven when you have the SkyTrain.
I don't know. I wouldn't call it heaven. I mean, anytime you're on public transport, listen.
Properties, it is a great thing to be close to public transport. So your life does become a little bit better. The converse of that is that her rent, the rent you pay will invariably go up because there will be more of a demand, to live off of any SkyTrain, and their prices are much higher. Now, frankly, that's not the case right now because of this whole COVID crap. You can get deals everywhere.
It's not going to go up where I am. It's not going to go up right here. I can tell you that right now, because we're I mean, if I walked, it would take me 15, 20 minutes to walk there.
That's
this
different.
lady, she's not going to rent. And listen, even if she did, she'd raise it 1,000 baht. It's not that big of a deal. Considering, listen, the house is a little older, but like my wife was saying, it's very, very comfortable. We are very comfortable here, and that's what's important, So, but let's see here. Let me read some of these. I definitely think knowing the language would enhance the experience of being in Thailand. It definitely does. And let me tell you something. I don't know a lot of foods, and I always forget. My memory is not very good, and so I have to be using a word fairly consistently. If it's something like a particular fruit, I might go, what is that thing called? I can't remember what it's called. I don't even remember what it's called in English. So, it pays to be speaking Thai all the time. And my wife does not ever speak to me in Thai, even when she's mad. She speaks in English to me. She will speak in Thai to the cat, to the dog, to the kids, and she'll speak English to the kids. But when we speak, her and I, the only time we ever speak in Thai is when we are somewhere where somebody doesn't speak Thai. And we use that, to our advantage, which is good. My mom used to cuss me out in Korean. She even used Spanish. Over under on which is completed first, SkyTrain or
Hmm.
Isan Toll Road. I'm not taking that bet. Oh, pendejo. Yeah. Well, I mean, I used to. My Spanish is really rusty right now, but I took 2 years of Spanish in high school and a little bit in college. So I took, I think, 1 year in college of Spanish. So I remember a fair amount, but I'm not living in Mexico or a Spanish-speaking country, so you know. Yeah, how's that ASQ food
For who?
for Longhorns? He's
Uh,
in right now. He's sitting in
oh, I
there.
didn't
And
know
by the
that.
way, let me give a shout out to. I want to give a shout out to 3 people right now. One
No
is
problem.
to Bilal. Bilal, thank you very much, Bilal. The other is to Mr. Steve's Kitchen, who has been helping me out with my channel and some things that I'm doing behind the scenes, and also to Tokyo Sam, who has also been a big help. So big shout out to those guys. Go visit their channels. I have to put their
I
links down in the
I
description.
did
But
not I did not know that Longhorns was in town. That's great.
you didn't know that?
No.
Well, kind of been, like laying low since the eyes started acting up on you.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. That's great.
I understand. But yeah,
Well,
he got here, what, 6 days ago? Just had a
wow,
second test today.
that's amazing. That's great.
So yeah, he's
How long?
shacked
How
up.
long is he gonna? How long is he gonna be in town for?
2.5 months.
Nice. That'll be great.
That's one the 45 days that he gets. Then you got to subtract they subtract the 15 days, so they give you the 45
Right.
days, and then another 30 days in the extension. And who knows if they'll let him extend again, but so Jono is preparing his pizza dough, making sure everything's all right, making sure his oven is in top condition, and it really depends on Pattaya, because they just were announcing some things. What was it that they said? I don't know if Pattaya Bob is listening still, but there were some numbers that came out, and they weren't looking too promising.
I
And
know.
so, I've been saying that we are on the verge of a lockdown here, and they don't want to lock things down because they know people are going to be pissed and people are hurting. What are you going to do? I mean, you got to make a living. And what is the point of wearing masks and socially distancing and washing your hands and all these other kind of things? What is the point if you aren't allowed to open up? I mean, especially if you're vaccinated.
Have they vaccinated 6 million people? Is that true?
I think well, let me think here. I think they may have vaccinated like 5. I don't know about 6. The last I heard, 10% of people had the first jab, and around a little under 5 had this.
How long did it take them to do that 10%?
About 10 years. No.
No, seriously. How long did it take?
Well, think about it. It's only been a few months.
So how long did it take them to go from 5% to 10%?
Chuck, I don't know. It's been
because then we can calculate when they'll finish.
Because they're ramping up. They've got lots of orders coming in. They got a shortage. And this is the problem. There's a huge shortage. They can't get enough vaccines. Places are waiting, going, well, we can't vaccinate anybody if we don't have any vaccines. So I don't know when the first shot was given, and till now, I don't know, but it can't have been all that long. Couldn't have been more than 2-3 months.
Right.
But that doesn't really tell the whole truth, because just because they've only vaccinated this many up to date doesn't mean that in the next month they're not going to ramp up and get more stuff, or say the next 3 months, and they're not going to bang out, say, 30 million people.
Now, Scott, do they have enough for the second shots? Because did they set that aside?
No, I don't think they're setting them aside because I think there's a shelf life on the stuff. I'm
Do you
not
have an
positive
appointment
about
for your
that.
second shot?
Excuse me?
Do you have an appointment for your second shot?
Yeah, it's in about, let me see here, for about
Should
a
be,
little more than 3 weeks.
yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. I gotta turn down my TV.
All
Yeah,
right.
that'll be
So,
good.
as long as they have enough vaccine for your second shot,
Well, yeah, and then if the Moderna comes in, I'm going to see if I can, get the little booster. If it
Yeah.
works
Well,
that way, you know.
that's the interesting point, actually. Like, clearly they're going to need booster shots for this, like probably every year. So the question is, when do they start giving those out in the United States?
Yeah, well,
Because
the thing is here is, if all you have to do is pay for it, well, then, one booster shot, maybe they'll charge you 2,000 baht for one. That's not very much money to supposedly provide you with that extra layer of safety. And for me, it's not only the safety, it's also about knowing that I can go places and I have my little pin on that says check vaccinated. So you're not going to tell me no, I can't come in, no, I can't do this, no, I can't do that because I'm not vaccinated. Let
yeah,
me read
listen,
some of these.
okay, go ahead.
Let
Sorry.
me read some of these. Can you have food delivered there? Yes, you can. And you can also you could do Amazon coffee. You can do Starbucks coffee. Starbucks delivers here. They're not going to deliver beer, if you know what I mean. I'm using the ESQ to eat a little healthier and drink healthier, so I'm not going to order outside snacks. Well, you shouldn't be ordering outside snacks. Let me tell you something. I'm on this thing now. I've been eating really healthy for almost 5 weeks now. No soda, no junk food, nothing, no sauces, no sugar. Only sugar that I had up until a couple days ago was from like strawberries and kiwi. Other than that, haven't had sugar, no salt, anything like that. Yesterday, let's see if I can see this here. Yesterday, as part of this, part of what I'm doing, I had 5 of these bottles. That's 7.5. It's 2 gallons, more than 2 gallons of water. And That's a lot. I've been peeing like crazy because I drank so much, and now I'm going to cut back a little bit, and I have to check my weight in a couple days. Hopefully, I've dropped about 11 or 12 kilos. That's the goal, 11 or 12 kilos. But I'm not eating any Thai food. What carbs? The only carbs that I get is from 1 cup of oatmeal, rolled oats, and that's about 25 grams of carbs, and that's pretty much it.
But that's
I'm
high
not eating
fiber.
potatoes, no rice, no pasta, no no noodles, nothing. Let me see here because I saw Patya Bob. Today's numbers: Chonburi, 275 cases in Pattaya. Ban Lamung district found 48 cases. Can you mix vaccines? Yes. As far as I know, you can. Think I'm getting censored. I don't know why you're getting censored. It's not me or it's not us, so it's either YouTube or whatever. Deliver beer. Yes, you caught that. Dr. Campbell from he's not a doctor. He's a nurse who is a teaching I think he's a teacher or something like that. So they call him, he's a professor of medicine or whatever. But I don't believe he is a doctor. So, but it doesn't really matter. He knows his shit. I mean, he is a quality. You can tell he's a knowledgeable guy. Barista delivered various service. Yeah. How about carbs? Okay, thanks, Bob. 7-Eleven. The only thing worth getting from 7-Eleven are bananas and hard-boiled eggs. Won't let me say ham and cheese in English. Wow. I wonder why. I mean, they're obviously their algorithm is not flawless. They do have some problems. Let me see here. Which I don't understand what their problem is. But anyway. Where are we here? Oh, bacon. I'm not having any bacon anymore. No more
Hey,
bacon for
Scott.
me. Yes, sir.
Scott, I got to run. I'm sorry. I'm just so exhausted
No
from
worries. No
this
worries. All right. Well, it
this
was good
thing.
having you back and catching up, and we'll do it again
Yeah, I'll be
soon.
on longer the next time. I appreciate you
No
inviting me
worries.
on.
No worries.
Always.
Because we're not streaming as long anymore. We've cut the stream times back a little bit. So
That's right. I
anyway, you
forgot.
take care, everybody. Say goodbye to the soy dog, and we
Thank
will
you
talk to you
all.
soon. All right.
So,
Absolutely.
Take care.
Doug, I hope
Bye
you
bye.
feel better soon.
Yeah.
You
Will.
seem
Take care.
like you're suffering a lot.
Well, I'm not in pain. It's just tiring, the whole thing, So that's good. But I appreciate it, Chuck. Speak to everyone soon.
All right. See you later. All right. Well, there we go. Yeah, I can only imagine, like having as many retinal tears as he's had. He's had, God, it's like he's probably had like 8, something like that. And every time they got to go in and fix it, and it still doesn't fix it. He's got these things floating around in his eyes. So, like I said, it's kind of like you put a pair of glasses on, you got a bunch of dirt in your glasses, and you can never get rid of it. Not fun. He could probably come to Thailand and get all that stuff done here. They do have some good. What's that? Rutnin I. What's the hell's the name of it? I think it's Rutnin Rutnin or NEN. They've got it's like an eye and nose place. So anyway, you planning on doing anything tomorrow on 4th of July there, Chucky?
Yes, I am. I have a friend that lives right on the beach, and I'm going to his house, and we're going to watch the fireworks show.
Is this a friend, or is this a?
It's a peer. He's my age, and he's into Asians. So,
so you guys talk about your shared experiences.
yeah. You know what? You know what gay people call that? They say.
No,
They say
no idea.
if you like Asians, it means you're a rice queen or a rice king.
Oh, is that what it is?
If you're like a masculine gay person and you like Asians, you say I'm a rice king. But if you're, feminine, and you
for
say
those of you out
rice
there who need to remember that, write it down, make note of it, do whatever.
Well, you are a rice king. You just like girls.
Yeah, I like.
But I think you
make
don't
that
like just
clear.
only Asians. But I think you like Asians the most by far.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to any other type of woman, but at this point, I've been around Asian women for so long that I kind of expect women to act a certain way, and so not that all Western women act a certain way, but I mean, there is a difference, and I don't know. I mean, like that's the thing. I don't have to listen to any shit from my wife most of the time. And if I do, it's usually either justified or it's some small misunderstanding. But most of the time, I never have to have. I don't have any drama in my life, and I don't want any. I don't want to live my life like that, So, where is the next travel destination there, Chucky?
Europe.
When
August
are you
15th.
leaving? Aren't you leaving in a month?
August 15th.
Yeah, a month and a half or so. Huh.
I'm going to many places. I'm going to stay at about 19 hotels.
Now you've got what shot did you get? You got the Astra or what?
No,
What'd you
Pfizer.
get? Pfizer. Okay. And you're not worried about any of these other variants or anything like that? You're not deathly afraid? Good.
These variants mean nothing. They use it to scare people to take a test.
Yeah, I wish this would all end. And I wanted to not. Well, I mean, we've talked about some things that were not related, but you see how it creeps into every aspect of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It really is the blob of our generation. That's what this is. It's the blob. It spreads out and it just consumes everything. It's in government. It's in families. It affects families. People die, and then they think that they died from this or from that. And, was it the COVID? They can't be sure. Oh, we need to get a bed. We need to be on the ventilator. You got all these things. And it's all because of this virus, which, these things happen, and they've happened before. They're going to happen again throughout history. And like I've been saying, I think Singapore's got it right. You're going to have to learn to live with it. We're going to have to get through it. And one of the reasons why I'm really trying to get myself into not only the kind of shape where I was when I was in Koh Chang, I was in the boxing gym. I want to get in better shape than that. Because right after that is when I had my gallbladder problem. So I had been operating for who knows how long with my gallbladder was infected. It was really bad. And I don't know how that affected me for the previous, for a year before that, the entire year. But I feel healthy now, pretty healthy. And I think it's important to be healthy so that you can, you can get past these kind of things. Because if it is just a really bad, let's say it's like a flu, except it's 10 times worse. I think if you're strong, you should be able to get through it. It would seem that way from the numbers and all that kind of thing. So I want to get back to having a life. I'm sitting here and I'm doing these, I'll be honest, I'm doing these commentaries, I'm doing these little things, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could just all right, I want to go somewhere else. It's like, I'm thinking about like Riley and Cowlock, and I'm like, that seems like a century ago. And it wasn't all that long ago. And so, I want to get to the point where we are, you are almost out of the tunnel there, Chucky. I want to get to at least to that point. And, I got my wife, and my wife is worried, she's always worried. She's worried, what happens if you get sick? What happens if I get sick and I die? And what, what happens if the kids get sick? And so she's very worried. And I understand, I have to try to kind of reassure her about things, but, she doesn't want me going traveling all over the place. She's like, what are you, crazy? And I'm like, no, I just want to, I'll put the mask on, I'll
You're
go out.
vaccinated.
Well, I've got one vaccine, and it's, one shot. It's the first shot. When I get the second one, I will be vaccinated, but it's Sinovac. So who knows just how protected I really am. Maybe it's going to be a couple more months or maybe even a year. It may be a couple. Listen, once I get the second vaccination, like a 10 days, 2 weeks after that, then I will probably start roaming around Bangkok quite a bit more. And then depending on how things are in the country, after that, I will start going other places. If I get a booster shot and things start looking better, when that happens, then maybe I'll start thinking about traveling outside of the country. But I really wish they would let up with this, mandatory insurance for people who are staying here. It's like, why? My medical insurance will cover quite a bit of it. And if I'm vaccinated, what's the point of being vaccinated if you have to worry so much about getting infected that you need $100,000 worth of insurance when you're in Thailand, where racking up $100,000 bill is a difficult thing to do. I know guys who had $30,000 bills and they had open heart surgery and they had a heart attack and they were in the hospital in ICU for more than a month. So.
And it was only 30K? Wow, that's great.
It was 800,000 baht. And they didn't want to let him out of the hospital. And he was like, listen, I need to set some things up. I got to transfer the money. I didn't know I was going to have a heart attack. I don't have the money here in Thailand. I have the money, but I can't use a card and just pay for it. So you're going to have to let me transfer the money. And they were like, we want to go to the bank with you. He was like,
oh my God.
I would have told them. I've already told them that several times when they had a problem with me in the hospital. I paid with my Amex card. and they were using what happened was they originally thought it was that the Wi-Fi went out. So it was mid-transaction. I got charged. But it didn't. They had to do it. They were using an old machine. They had to do the second charge. They authorized it. Then they had to run it, which requires that you need double the amount that you really need. I didn't have double, right? I had like 1.5 times what was necessary. And they were like, "Oh, well, you're going to have to figure something out. You have to pay for it." And I said, "No, I live right down the street. I've been coming here for years. I'm not going anywhere. I'm out of here. Fuck you. It's your machine." And then, they had to get approval from their, I was like, I tried to be cool about it because, they're just doing what they have to do, which is dictated by their bosses and their bosses' bosses. And, goes all the way up to the top. They're deathly afraid. I'm going to lose my job because, this guy ran away and he left us on the hook. And then I came back again and did it again. They had a new machine. They did it again, and the same thing happened. I went down, and what I did was I opened up. I had to get my laptop, and I showed them on my laptop. Look, this money has been taken out. I'm not going to pay you again. What don't you understand? They had a problem. I said, if this money falls off in 3 days, 5 days, like it drops off because the authorization doesn't go through, I will come back and pay you. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to, I'm not paying you and I'm out of here. You want to call the police? Go ahead. And they were like, they didn't know what to say, And I mean, I'm not being a dick to them. I'm just being very firm. I'm like, listen, here's the paper. It shows you took the money out. Yeah, but we don't show. I said, I don't care what you show. It shows on my account you took the money out. You can see it right here. And they, I left. And then the money dropped off. And I came back again. And I don't remember exactly what I did. I either paid in cash, I took the money out, or they had another machine. What it is, they have the chips now. And the chips cause problems with some ATMs and some of the older ATMs and some of the older machines. And so they have this problem with it. And then people are going, hey, if you have like a little, let's say you ran up a $20 bill, right? It's 600 baht. And then they authorized it. Now they say, okay, it went through. The machine shows it went through, and they hit the button and it withdraws the money. So they have the pre-authorization and then they have the withdrawal. So they charge you 600 baht, then 600 baht. And then the pre-authorization falls off a couple of days later. So when it's a small amount, it's no big deal. But when it's, thousands of dollars, that's, it's a pain in the ass. So anyway, let me get to some of these messages here. We got to, I don't know what we are for time. We're almost at an hour and a half.
That's good to know how it works, because
it doesn't always work that way. They're starting to modernize and get things together, but that chip was causing problems. It has been causing problems. I've still had some problems at the grocery, and they have to change over to another machine, because it won't even allow it to go through now. In some cases, the machine is so old. But let me read these, and then we'll get on the road here.
I have only one credit card, but the limit is really, really, really high, so it wouldn't be a problem for me.
That's good. Bangkok Pattaya Hospital is world known for eye surgery. Well, that's good to know also. I believe the one that I'm talking about, which is on Asok here in Bangkok, is also very, very respected. And it's known as being a top-notch place. Chuck, is that the Redondo Beach fireworks display?
I'm going to the Manhattan Beach. I'm sorry, Hermosa Beach.
Best fireworks show for me was on a military base. They bring out the big guns. AstraZeneca was never approved or used in the U.S. Disney has an epic fireworks show. Listen, fuck Disney. Sorry. The training for Kakabarazzi has begun. You in, Longhorns? Yeah. I hope I get to that point where I could do it. I'm getting a little bit old, though. A little long in the tooth. Singapore put a different spin on the problem. What's the vaccination percentage of Singapore? I don't know. Let me look real quick. Vaccination of pop. Let's see. They vaccinated about 47% of their population, which is good.
That's good progress.
Yeah. My wife is petrified. She does not want to leave the house. My wife is kind of the same way, although she'll go to work and she'll go out when, like if it's like, I'll give you an example. I got like 140 baht here. I ordered a bunch of coffee. It was 400 baht. I said, you got some cash? Yeah, I got cash. She's always got cash, right? I never have cash on me. I always use my card, or I go get cash when I need it. That way I don't spend it. Anyway, so you got cash? Yeah, okay. I transfer the money to her. She'll pay it because she doesn't want me going out and going to the ATM, because why do you have to make that trip? For what? The Thai government says foreigners racked up millions in unpaid medical bills. How did that happen if they don't let you leave the hospital without paying as you go? Well, I don't think they can hold you. I think what it is they make it very difficult for you, very uncomfortable. And then, you got to pay. You got to figure it out right then. But the truth is that some people just say, screw you, I'm leaving. And they go and they don't pay. And I don't know if they go on some kind of a blacklist. So when they come back in, I guess it depends on what the hospital does legally. But if they do something, then if somebody comes back into the country, it will show, hey, they've got an outstanding situation. Insurance companies are brown envelopes to immigration. No, Gennaro. Scott can do Kakabarazzi also. I can't do it solo. Hi, Carlos. I know how your wife feels. Would not be fun to get COVID. No, I don't think it would be fun. The one thing that nobody talks about, really almost nobody talks about this. Everybody just goes, oh, so I get it. It's not a big deal. Just like the flu. No big deal. The truth is, though, for some people, it causes long-term respiratory damage, and it causes some other issues.
And I have a friend 32 years old who has what you're describing.
There you go.
And he had it March of 2020, one of the first people.
There you go.
He got it on a cruise ship. 32. And his girlfriend, 28, and she has asthma now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's yeah. I mean, it's wild, but
But I know someone that is 90 years old that got it, and she was hardly sick at all. It's weird. I know a guy that is like super overweight, like maybe like 370 pounds, and he's 60. He didn't get that sick. It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But statistically, though, if you look at the numbers, though, if you're under 65, the chances are really small. But still, some people, get it back.
I mean, I understand that, and that's why I think that if you really want to look at it logically, then look at the statistics. As long as you are inputting correct data, and you look at the statistics, and those statistics are correct, well, then you would think, hey, the chance of dying is very, very small. This is why the Singapore model is gaining a little traction. You vaccinate the people. I mean, really, get vaccinated. Listen, I had a flu shot not long ago. So did the kids. And the only reason I did it was because it was free. I never get a flu shot. I was just like, listen, it's free. I want to get my kids vaccinated. I'll get them vaccinated just for them. And I'll go along and I'll get the vaccination as well. And so I got that. So maybe that helps too. I don't know, But the flu still, kills a large number of people, as do traffic accidents here in Thailand. So, you're not stopping people from driving cars.
Yeah, I think we should ban cars, make it illegal to have a car.
Yeah. There's always exceptions. Don't even want a mild case. No, thank you. I'm covered under my wife's government. Do I need COVID insurance? Yes, you need COVID insurance. Doesn't matter what you're covered under. What do you mean you're under your wife's government? If you have an insurance policy and it shows that you're covered for 100,000, doesn't matter what it is. But if it's just, you got to go into that particular, let's say that you're in Germany and you have to go into a German hospital, then that's not going to suffice. So I don't know. It's, your question's not quite specific enough, but
Less than 60 seconds.
guy can't sit still. Big radio guy. You can't sit still. All right, we're going to go to 1:45 today. We got about 13 minutes and see if we can wrap this up here. Thai. I don't know. How are you covered under your wife's government? What do you mean under your wife? You're covered under the Thai government? No. How is that working?
Hey, Scott,
What?
can I ask you a question about healthcare?
Sure.
So, if you, let's say, I went to the hospital, I'm awake, right? But I think I might not be awake. Would you trust the hospital overpaying them? Do you trust that they're going to give it back to you? Or do you think that's not wise? In other words, let's say I go in, they don't know exactly what's on, and I just say charge 25,000 as a deposit, in case I go unconscious.
They'll give you the money back.
Okay, so you would be okay with that, even if you have no
I don't
idea.
particularly like it, but they're not totally corrupt. They will give you the money back. I've had money where I paid them money and they gave me some money back. It wasn't a huge amount of money. I think they gave me back something like 1,800 baht or something like that it was overpaid.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't, generally I wouldn't do something like that unless it's something like an hospital that is strictly controlled by the government. If it's just you're going to go into a mom and pop shop and you expect to get your money back from them, some will be okay, but a lot of them, it depends on the situation. But you can find yourself in situations where they're like going, "No, you go buy something else," or something like that.
It's about Bumrungrad or BNH or some other hospital like that.
Well, they should give you the money back. They're quite in touch with it, and they know that you're overpaying. I guarantee you, when you go in there, you're probably not telling them, "Oh, no. You told me it's this much. I want it to be this much, not that much." I mean, and I'm a stickler. I've done it. I did it with some fighters at Bumrungrad, and also for surgery, and also for MRIs, and also at Waitini, and they both tried overcharging me. And I told them, no, we're not paying it. I know you're full of shit, basically is what I was saying. No, I know what the price is. You gave me the price the last time. I talked to you about the price before I came in, and now you're charging me more. No, I asked you, what is the price? And so then they capitulated and said, okay, let me read this here. Heard that several hospitals bill you for more severe conditions that you really have. I don't know about that. You always got to be careful, but they're not complete crooks. My wife is an ex-teacher. I have Thai government card to access Thai government employee hospitals. Yeah, I don't know if I would really look into that if I were you. I don't know if that will suffice for you as a foreigner, because one way or the other, you still need the $100,000. That's your requirement. It's not a Thai person's. And just because you have that, I don't know if you have a PR card or a citizenship or something like that. I don't know, but even then, you got to have the insurance. That's their their guideline for now, at least. And I'm wondering, is this going to be forever? I mean, I don't know. Good question, though. Not too many people that I know now are going to government hospitals. Almost everybody I know goes to private hospitals. But one guy that I know pretty well, he's only been to public hospitals, and he's been taking they've taken good care of him. Chuck, have you ever had a medical emergency in a foreign country?
I never had one, period.
Knock on wood.
Yes.
Have
But
I
I
ever
want to be
had?
ready. That's why I asked you that question.
I'm trying to think. Have I ever had one? Nothing serious. I've had some scrapes, motorcycle accident, Cambodia, just a little scraped up. But other than that, I think, in
Well, you jumped
Thailand,
out of the building that was on fire. That was pretty severe.
yeah, that was acute.
Yeah, that's scary.
That was a gnarly one. But I mean, I've had that. I've had gallbladder surgery. I've had all kinds of things. I can't even get into it. It's too many. Back in 2017 in Phuket, I went to a medical clinic for blisters. I could hardly walk and had to pay up front. They wouldn't accept my billing alliance. I don't know why. What they want sometimes is they want you to pay and then you to get reimbursed by the medical care provider, the medical insurer rather. And it depends. You can work with the insurance company sometimes. There have been times I didn't have the money and I had the insurance, and I said, "Listen, I don't have the money," and the insurance company worked it out with them and got it taken care of. I've also been with like William Russell Insurance, which is excellent. It's a British owned insurance company. They were fantastic. They would talk to them beforehand and get everything straightened out. And it's just too expensive for me. By now my insurance would probably be $500 a month, which I don't want to pay. There is one that I've been looking at. I did bump my insurance up, but there is one that I want that is quite a bit better, and it's going to cost me some money, but I need to make sure that I can pay it, and regularly pay it, not have to worry about, oh man, I got to scrape together money this month. I don't want to have to worry about it. And when it's $300 a month, to me, that's a fair chunk of change, versus now, which is, it's almost nothing for me and the kids. How about depositing in a Thai bank 100,000 if over 80 and can't get insurance? Well, supposedly you can do that now. I would get like an agent to help you with that. Thanks. We'll follow up. Only about 4,000 for I'm married to Thai government employees. I was surprised when I was told. Yeah, you know what? A lot of times with the government employees, this is just my own personal view on it, and it's just my perception, obviously. But a lot of the government employees are staunch Thais. They are the kind of Thais that the government can do no wrong. I am Kon Thai, that they're very steadfast about it, and I think that may be why, it's like marrying an immigration officer. Some of the people, yeah, okay, maybe they're game for it, maybe they would be okay, but I mean, a lot of them they are so pro Thailand that they would never even consider being with a foreigner. Just my view on it.
And there's quite a few of them that could be with a foreigner, but they're still pro-Thai. They're conservative Thais.
You know what? Like you said, only about 4,000 are married to government employees. Think about how many government employees there are. I'm not saying that it can't happen. What I'm saying is that they're staunch Thais. And I mean, think about if you see a Thai and she is very, very into, Buddhism. She's very into the whole, Chanpen Ko Thai, I am a Thai girl, I'm a Thai person, and they're just, and every person that I've met, they always are proud of their nationality here, but some are much more proud. Listen, my wife, she doesn't have a problem speaking her mind and saying things when she thinks things are screwed up about the government or something like. She's not one of these people who is rock solid with her support. I'm not saying that she is not proud of being Thai or she wouldn't support the government if she believed in what they're doing, but if she doesn't believe in something, she'll tell you. And a lot of these people, they will find another. They don't want to speak the truth. They don't want to hear about it. And that's why when you get into a taxi, with some driver, you don't go. You definitely don't go and speak about any things that are anything that's really bad in Thailand. You have to be careful how you speak about politics, about their country, which you understand. I mean, that's just about anywhere else. You got to be.
I know a way you can do that though.
I do too.
I never had a problem.
It.
You just ask them which politicians they like. So
Well, Chuck,
if you say,
again, you're saying this, there's another way. You speak their language and you talk to them and go, you can just say, hey, I was just wondering, what do you think about this? You think this is good? Or why did they do it this way? Or you don't attack.
no,
You don't
of course not.
No,
I just ask them who they like.
You can't do that. Maybe you can be blunt with Westerners, but you really don't want to be that blunt. And you want to stay away from politics if at all possible. But if you are, for any reason, going to talk about politics or the people, the culture, something you don't like, you can form it as a question.
I talk about politics
why are Thai
almost
people
every day.
always late? I don't understand. Is there a reason why they're? I mean, I know there's traffic, but in my country, you have to be on time. If you don't come in on time, you get fired. If you ask some simple question like that, okay, that's not a big deal. But when you start talking about politics, some people are staunch backers of the government. And you know that, Chuck. And so, there are some Thai YouTube influencers based in the U.S. who are very critical. Yeah, exactly. They will probably never come back here, Jim. And that's why, listen, I mean, I could be critical if I wanted. I could find things that I could criticize all the time. But why? If it gets that bad, then it's time to go somewhere else. I say that all the time. If it really gets that bad, it's time to it's time to get out of Dodge. Listen, you get into a taxi sometimes and you hear the red shirt radio station, and you probably don't want to be speaking out of turn. You don't want to be bringing up politics.
No, it depends on what kind of politics you bring up. If it's a red shirt, then you have a really good chance that they
what I find?
Don't like Prayut.
I think you're making assumptions, Chuck. I'm not even talking about Prayut.
No,
but
let me
about that. What I'm talking about is generally when I get into a taxi with a guy and he's got that red shirt radio station blaring, he don't even want to talk to me.
Oh, I find that they want to talk
to me, and I don't give a shit. See, this is the difference between you and me. You want to be communicating with people and talking to them. You don't give a shit about anything. I do care. I don't want any shit from the guy. I don't want to tell him, dude, I think you're full of shit. I don't want to.
I don't talk like that. I ask them questions and what they think. That's what I do.
Well,
not even one time did I have anyone get mad at me about politics in Thailand. Not even one time. Not even yet. A little bit mad.
Not yet.
No, well,
you have to be very careful, Chuck. And I think that you know about how to deal with people here very well. But I will say this. You know about them and everything is good right now. They will turn on you in a split second. And you need to always remember that. And I think sometimes, you just, and I understand it's your nature. But I think sometimes you should be careful about what you say. Some people might not take, your rock, jupe, jupe, or whatever the hell it is. I don't even remember what it is because, I don't ever say it. Some people might be like, ugh, like, look at you, like, what the and they the Thai way is to just laugh and smile, whatever. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to confront you and go, dude, what the hell are you saying to my girl here or whatever,
I wouldn't say that. I don't say that to a good-looking girl. I don't do that. I say that only to the ugly people.
Here's what Carlos says. In my opinion, it is in my best interest to not comment on a foreign government in said foreign country. Yes, which is why I've decided not to photograph any of the political events here because I live here. I don't want – listen, I'll go to Hong Kong. I'll go to Myanmar. I'll go anywhere. I'll go there right now. If I was able to, I'd go right now. If I was able, and completely.
I would never photograph because I don't have a press pass. I don't have a media visa, so I would never do that.
Agree, Carlos.
I
You
I
red
won't
shirt
even.
or yellow shirt?
Pardon
Want
me?
a what? No, I'm not. Just go on, Chuck. What were you saying?
And I'm just saying that I just ask people questions and find out what they think.
I understand, but
I
sometimes they don't
never
give a
tell
shit.
them.
They don't want to answer you.
Yeah, and I can tell when they don't want to answer.
Okay, I got you. Now, what I was saying was, Gennaro said,
I don't push them.
Let me finish. Gennaro was asking, you red shirt or yellow shirt? That's something I never ask. I don't care.
I don't ask that.
I don't care. I don't want to know. I don't give a shit because I can't vote here. I am someone who, I hate being called a guest. I've been here 26 years. When do I stop being a fucking guest? Guest my ass. Guests don't always pay for everything. All right? I understand, it's their country, and that's why I respect their procedure, their process. I respect it, and they can do whatever they want. I'm not saying a word. At least publicly, I have no reason to talk to anybody in time. I don't care. Hey, it's your country. Go ahead, do what you got to do. I'm not judging you one way or the other because you know what? What does my opinion matter? It doesn't matter one bit. Mipe and Rye, exactly. And Chucky, it only takes once for someone to get mad and cause a world of problems.
Well, I think that I always try to emphasize to people is that I am not out to live my life with no risk. So I do take some risk in my life. Most people want to always be safe, and I just don't think like that.
Well, listen, Chuck,
but
I
I'm
would
also
say,
not a high risk taker.
Chuck, I would
either.
say that I live my life a little more risky than you do, although I don't know what you do behind closed doors or anything, but I would say that maybe, I do it sporadically, but I do some things that most people would be like, I'm not doing that. What am I going to go do that for? Like, nah, I don't want to. What I think everybody's trying to say, and I know you realize this, you're no dummy, you know what's up. I think you just have to be very careful about how you speak to people about politics. And it's not only, it's in the United States and it's here, but here you are not one of them. And they may make you feel like, oh yeah, I understand. Oh, I love you. Oh, you're so great. But you know what? A split second, that'll change. So all I'm saying is, I trust you to do the right thing and to, be smart about how you interact with people and stuff like that about politics. But I would just say use a little bit of care when you speak to them. And I think you do. And that's why you've gotten away with it. And I think I do too. That's why nobody has gotten pissed off and pulled a tire iron on me because of politics. Mm-hmm. And nobody's really ever gotten angry with me about politics.
Yeah, I've never had anyone get angry with me at all.
Let me read the rest of these. We got to get out of here.
Not even close.
Always act as a guest. Never discuss politics or religion. I don't even like to talk money with them. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, how much you make every month? How much your wife make? How much you have? How much you have in the bank?" I'm just like, I just change the subject. Scott, will you be streaming tomorrow at this time? I don't know, honestly. Maybe not. I'm going to lean towards probably not, but maybe. Longhorns, Chuck, you make Americans look bad. Just joking, laughing my ass off. Chuck is the bomb. Carlos says, here, I'm going to put this up on the stream. You are talking shit, Chucky. Is it really worth going to prison in some dangerous, overcrowded prison just so you could exercise your privileged American opinion?
Talking shit about what? What am I talking shit about?
He's talking about politics.
I know, but what kind of shit am I talking about?
This is how you would be seen.
I don't talk about politics unless they are expressed interest in doing so.
All right. Anyway, listen. Just
Yeah.
the simple fact that we're going on and on about should you be talking about politics, that tells you something. We're
Well,
having a discussion
I believe that there's a healthy, safe way to talk about politics. That's what the
I
disagreement
do.
is coming down.
I believe that.
You believe,
However,
some
in
people believe you
Thailand,
should
some
talk
people
never
don't
about
believe
politics.
that. They don't give a shit what you think.
Right.
You're a fucking foreigner and you don't know jack shit. I've been told by people before. I've talked about Thai boxing before. I've talked about politics before. I've talked about boxing here and why are they doing it this way? It needs to be set up a little bit differently, and then that way it would help them internationally and things like that. And I have been told in no uncertain terms, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a foreigner. Now, if I don't know what I'm talking about after being here all this time and, knowing a fair amount, then, you know what, the vast majority of them, what they do, Chuck, is they appease you. That is
Well,
what Thais
I
do.
don't preach to people. I really don't even talk about very much about what I think. I listen to what they think. That's how and if they don't open up, then I never know anything.
Chuck has talked politics in North Korea.
Yeah, I talked a
Which
lot about politics.
I think it's foolish. Honestly, I think it's foolish to do that.
For hours.
I know. I think it's foolish. I really do. Because you could be one of the guys where they go, listen, we know you were talking to your guide. We heard everything. And you know what? We don't like what you said. You're going to jail. And you're like, what? We're going to do that.
Well, like I said, I'm not trying to live my life without risk.
I'm not saying that,
I don't need a perfectly safe life. North Koreans are very, 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 very open about politics, so they talk way more than Thai people.
In some countries, don't ever talk about politics or let them goad you into it. Yeah. Now, when I went into the Netherlands, the very first time I was there, I was sitting in a coffee shop, a hash bar, and I was, getting stoned by myself. Next thing I know, I had about 10 or 15 guys all circled around me talking about politics. And I was like, I was like, holy shit, man, you know more about America and what's going on there than I do. Because half the time I don't give a shit, In some countries, said that these people here are Thai, and no matter how much they like you, they will always side with Thais. And that you would never be Thai. I will never be Thai. We are outsiders, period. Doesn't matter if you've been here for 50 years and you've got 15 kids and 3 wives, whatever, and you've paid millions and millions of baht into the system, you will never be one of them. And when they say something about politics, sure, they may internally agree with you, but the vast majority of the time, when it comes down to, am I going to side with my Thai brother here, or am I going to side with you? They're going to side with their brother. 99.999% of the time, if not 100% of the time. So I guess this, we're talking in a circle, really, because you know what's going on here. I just think that some of these people, like Carlos and Longhorns, they know what it's like to be in places where politics is a forbidden subject, or it's a subject to get yourself in a lot of trouble. And
yeah, I wouldn't talk about politics unless someone else started talking to me about it first.
I can't even see this. It says, when Thais try to express their opinion about politics in public, they are told they need an attitude adjustment. Well, that's China also. That's what they do in China.
By the way, Scott, I was in Malaysia, and my taxi driver told me that he admired Osama bin Laden, and I didn't debate him at all. And I'm not going to debate him.
I wouldn't have said anything either. I would have.
No, all I said to him is, I said, you know what? I think George Bush and Osama bin Laden have something in common. They both like to use violence to get their way. That's all I said to him.
I wouldn't even have said that.
And he said,
you are way too into the politics for somebody who is not involved at all. You have the only thing you have is a vote in America. Other than that, you have nothing else. So what your opinion is basically just your opinion. And I say it like this. You put your opinion out there, but you really don't have to. And nobody gives a shit other than they want to hear what they want to hear. So and Carlos says, we like you and we're all saying you must be careful and it's best to avoid the topic than to risk the backlash. And I think for someone who, I would hate to see you in a situation where you've got a mad taxi driver who's beating the shit out of you, smacking the fuck out of you, and then his friends come over and find out you've been saying things politically that maybe they don't like, and you get the living shit beat out of you. It can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter how badass you are. And so I understand your desire to be able to speak freely and say what you want and, figure out how to navigate through that, harshness of political talk. But honestly, I think that sometimes it's better you just shut up. If somebody said something to me about Osama bin Laden, inside I'm telling myself, I'd like to kill this motherfucker.
I thought it was interesting.
In my head, hey, listen, I'm glad they got him. I mean, if I really wanted to say something to the guy, I would have said, I'm glad they got bin Laden. I'm glad. I'm happy. The world's a better place. But I wouldn't say that. I just wouldn't say it. I'd be like, hey, you know what? Whatever, buddy. And I know there are people like that in the world. And when you are in their part of the world, you are at a disadvantage. Even at home, you can be at a disadvantage. But when you are in their country, you are at even more of a disadvantage. And one of the things that I preach and have been preaching for years is never put yourself in a position of disadvantage here in this country. And that is a way you put yourself in a position of disadvantage.
Well, I think you don't even know what the conversations are. So,
Well, you're saying they're political in nature. That's enough.
No, they're political on their side, but not on my side. I never have a debate with anyone about politics. And if their opinions are different than mine, I won't say anything. Now, if their opinions are the same as mine, I say, you know what, I agree with you about that. But I never have debates.
Like I said, we're going. This is a circular discussion. Danny says, stick to gossip. Thais seem to love that. I would say stick to talk about, the Thai celebrities and the soap operas or something. That's much more in tune with the way that they think. They're not all thinking politically, nor do most of them give a shit, aside from very superficially. In some countries, even if they start the conversation about politics, you still should just avoid it. Just saying, because you go everywhere. Lots of nationalism. Wait a minute. Where am I at? Lots of nationalism there, although not like there was with Rama 9. Maybe it's just my training, but it's always best to go unnoticed. And I always say, if at any time you need to live a certain way, it's when you are out and about in Thailand, you would never be completely unnoticed, but you want to basically blend in like you're one of them. When you're walking along, the only thing that sets you apart from them is your skin color, maybe. And other than that, they don't even care about you. You're just somebody walking through. They don't care anything more. And when you start talking about politics, that's one thing that can set them off. Okay, I agree with that. Possibly trying to trigger the foreigner into saying something controversial. That maybe, but that doesn't usually happen. Go unnoticed. Great approach. Thais love the soap opera. Yes. Stealth mode. Yes. Let me tell you something. If I wasn't on this stream, I would be in stealth mode completely. I don't go out and, the only people who know me are the little places that I go on a regular basis, which is, you have your routine. Other than that, nobody knows me. Aside from a few foreigners who once in a while will go, hey, you American in Bangkok or something like that, Never draw attention to yourself. 549 from Tony G. Pair character exaggeratedly stretching his arm forward to offer a cup of coffee. I don't understand. Pair character? What's that mean? Tony,
what it is there's some people on here that are making comments that are the kind of people that don't believe you should take risk. But I do take risks.
It's not about taking a risk.
So,
It's
I'm
about
okay
nobody
with it.
gives a fuck what you think most of the time.
Oh,
It's about,
I don't tell people what I think. I don't tell people what I think at all. I listen to what they think. I want to learn what they think.
oh, thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. Scott's giving
Listen,
today.
we're
Scott is
getting
giving me half of his money.
we're getting I am. Well, you can, what is that? Like, I'll get you a coffee, no problem.
Like, like when I went to North Korea, I never said anything negative about the regime or anything like that. It's just the North Koreans opened up with me. They're the ones that said things to me. I said nothing negative. I said nothing of I feel sorry for you or anything like that at all. They opened up to me.
Mhm.
That's, that's what happened. I didn't say anything, and I would never say anything. And in Thailand, I don't say anything negative about top people in the government or the
Right.
monarchy or anything like that. I never
As
do.
you shouldn't.
But I do ask them what they think about things, and if they
Yeah.
want to tell me, they can tell me.
Yeah.
I'll say, "Oh, that's really interesting.
All right,
Teach me
listen.
about that."
Listen, we didn't really want to get into this, but I can tell you, if you think about it. First of all, Tony G, how did you send that? Like through a Bitcoin or something, one of those cyber currency things? I can tell you something. You see how we're all getting into this discussion, simply telling you maybe you should think twice about speaking about politics, because you're not sitting with a bunch of friends who you can debate and everything is okay, because you're always taking a chance when you're doing um, when you're going out doing things, um, talking to people, and you don't even know them, and you're talking about politics. Oh, now I see it, Tony. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Choke D to you. Choke D, choke D. I
Well,
think that's what everybody's saying.
I've already considered these things, so
Well, we
I'm
know you're a grown man,
yeah.
and
That's the bottom line.
but I think there are people here who have a lot of experience in dealing with situations where speaking about politics is not a great idea.
I have a lot of experience too. I've been to 101 countries, so I've spoken to a lot of people
Okay.
in different countries.
I take risk. I've been waterboarding my ass lately. There you go. Chuck, I can't believe you still haven't taken the used the bum gun, Chuck. I mean, I'm really
I
disappointed.
don't have a bum gun here.
Well, you should be able to find a bidet in Europe somewhere.
Yeah, I'll
Use
try.
the bidet.
I'll try it.
Chuck is a good politician, indigenous to California.
Yeah, but I am not. I'm not
Uh,
a California liberal. So,
no, but you're in between.
but I'm not a conservative either.
Yeah, you're in between.
Yeah, I'm a swing voter.
You're a tweener.
Yes.
All right. Well,
I don't like blue states. I don't like red states. I like purple states. That's my
yeah.
preference.
Okay. Let me ask you something, Chuck. What is, out of the 101 countries, what is the average stay in each country?
It just depends. I don't have an average. It's very tremendous.
You have an average. Everybody has an average. If you would count up the number of days you've been in all these countries, you divide by 101. There's your average.
I don't have an average because some of them I've been like many years of time, and some of them I only went there for like 2 days. So it depends on the country. Name the country.
And we're talking about all 101, Chuck.
Yeah, I didn't calculate
Let me tell you what
I don't know how to calculate an average.
Well, let me tell you what I observe about your travels.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 101 is a lot. I think I've been to like 43 or something. I'd say that sometimes you go on some longer trips where you're gone for what, a week in one country, or say you go to 2 countries, it's 10 days or something like that.
I lived in Thailand for about 7 years.
Yeah, but Thailand is a different story. You're not traveling to Thailand. You're coming here to live in Thailand. You say you live in Thailand.
Well, no, I'm here off and on. It's not It's just off and on.
All right, we're not
So
going to count
Thailand,
Thailand.
Thailand is the
We're not
country I
counting
know the most
Thailand.
about.
We're not counting Thailand because you actually live in Thailand for quite some time each time you come. You don't come here for 3 days. You do go to many other places for 4 days to 7 days, maybe even 2 days. Right? If you're going to somewhere like North Korea, you go for how long did you go? 10 days?
No, I went there for a week.
You went for a week. Okay. But there are
And I'm going to
numerous
go there
places,
again later on when they
but
open
there
up.
are numerous places that you've been where you go 3 or 4 days. Am I correct?
Mhm.
Okay. So I guess the point is that when you go to these countries, do you really feel like you've gained an understanding of how the people think or anything like that?
I know different countries more than others.
I mean, to
So
talk
it
about
depends on the
politics, for
country.
instance. You feel like,
There's many countries where I don't know hardly anything about politics.
didn't you say you went to like Iraq or Iran or somewhere? Where was it you went?
I've been to Iran.
Okay.
I learned a
And
lot about politics there.
you
A
did
lot.
talk about politics there.
A lot.
Uh-huh.
They
Talk
love
about gay
talking
people there
politics.
because I think they have a big gay community there.
My tour guide, remember Ahmadinejad said there was no gay people in Iran? I teased my tour guide. I said, I heard there's no gay people in Iran. And she said, oh, he's crazy. He's an idiot. She said, I have many gay friends. And I said, I'm gay.
Well, you
And
know
she
the reason
said,
why.
you want to go to a gay bar tonight? And she took me to a gay bar.
Really? But is it Iran or Iraq where they allow people to become transgender, but they don't allow gay people?
Well,
Because
what it is
which
that
one is
it's
it?
okay to have gay sex because it's considered to be a necessity because you can't get laid with girls. So a very high percentage of the straight men are having sex with men. Huge percentage. It's like jail, so they don't have access to it. But it's wrong to say I'm gay and I'm proud and I want to promote gay rights. It's not viable existence. It's something on the side that is understandable because you can't get laid.
Yeah.
And once they can sense that I'm gay, they're really aggressive trying to get me to hook up.
Yeah.
And they're very masculine looking. But they live the lifestyle of being in jail where a lot of long haulers in prison end up having sex with men. So
okay. So let me
it's
ask
a
you,
unique and that's like all over the Middle East.
let me ask you this.
Sure.
Out of all the countries you've been to, and I'm going to give my top 3. Tell me your top 3 countries, your favorite 3 countries. But I want to ask Carlos a question while you think about that. Carlos, have you ever been to Angola, which for some reason intrigues me? Angola and Mozambique, and the Congo and Central African Republic. Central Africa really intrigues me, but Angola and Mozambique. You haven't been to either of those places, have you, Chuck? Or you been to Mozambique, Chuck?
No, I've been to Zimbabwe, Zambia, South Africa, Morocco, and Egypt.
Yeah,
That's
Chuck
it
would make a
in
good
Africa.
politician. Never answers a direct question. Oh God, it's funny. So let me see here. Jail, you say? So is that what you're trying to do? You want to go to jail for some jail booty? Oh God.
I don't need to go to jail to get jail booty.
Anyway, did you hear my question, Carlos? Have you ever been to Angola or Mozambique? Those are probably the other 2 places, and I would actually go probably to what's the one? Sierra Leone. I'd like to go there. Sierra Leone, Angola, Mozambique. All those places. I would like to go. I don't know why. I'm just really curious about them. And anyway, your 3 favorite places.
Mine?
Off the top of your head, 3 favorite places.
Different places for different categories. So
It's your 3 favorite places, Chuck. Jesus Christ.
I can't.
Make a fucking decision. I mean, what's the problem? What are your favorite? Think about it. Like, out of all the places, which one's popping in your head first? That you
Well,
really
Thailand
like?
has to be number one because I've been
Okay.
there the most.
All right, thank you. That's one. Now, what's the other two?
I can't tell you.
You are like a politician.
No, I'm not trying to conceal it. It depends as far as like
it's not you're trying to conceal it. You just don't. You just can't make a decision.
best overall. No, it's not about a decision because different places are better for different reasons.
I understand
So,
that, but you know what?
I can give you categories. Like the
No, I
most
don't want
beautiful
categories.
country
I don't want your
is Italy.
categories. I don't want your fucking categories. Okay.
Well, you
All
don't,
I want is overall, which are your favorite places?
I
It's not a
haven't
fucking.
I
It's not
haven't
rocket science,
formulated
Chuck.
my opinion on that
Oh
yet. So I'm
God!
sorry.
You've been to 101 fucking countries. You haven't formulated your decisions. You can't figure out. I'm going to tell you mine off the top of my head.
Cool.
Thailand, okay, the Netherlands, and number 3 is a little more difficult. I have to think about it. I have to give it a couple seconds of thought because I really like Nepal. I'm not going to say Bangladesh was one of my favorite places. And actually, Nepal probably wasn't one of my favorite places either. I got to think of this a little bit here. I could say Guyana also. But, I spent 2 weeks there. And I liked it, but, yeah, now that I think about it, so I'm going to go with Indonesia. So Thailand, Indonesia, and the Netherlands. Top 3.
As far as nice people, I'm going to say Bangladesh is number 1 and Nepal is number 2.
We're not talking about that, Chuck. I'm not going to let you answer because you do this, and this is what you want to control how you think about everything, and you just don't want to answer. It's a fucking simple question.
I don't have an
In
answer.
your head,
I
which
will give
ones
you one
are
if
your favorites overall? Which ones stand out to you the most where you go, man, I really like that place?
There's many.
Actually, I might even pump up Russia, but I can't. I can't put it in the top 3.
I give it a medium score.
I really liked Russian food. It was really good. My top 3 are Barbados, Sweden, Guyana. I've been to Barbados, actually, only for a day. And I've been to Guyana, and that was a trip. It's probably in my top 5 because the people were so different and so cool, and I really enjoyed my time there. Sweden, I haven't been to. Laos, I can't. I can't get into Laos. It's just too much. I am pissed at Indonesia
Scott?
right now. All right, you got to go.
No.
Oh, okay.
That was Tao.
Huh?
Tao. Remember Tao?
Yeah. What about him?
That was him.
What do you mean that was him?
That was him calling me.
Oh, I didn't know he called you. How can I tell?
Oh, I don't. I thought maybe you could hear the ring. So
No.
never mind. So, as
I'm
far
gonna
as
say
most
Bali.
beautiful place,
Yeah.
Europe is number 1 by far.
Europe is a continent.
Well, because there's so many beautiful places there, I have to
But
say.
but here's the thing: you got to pick one. Boy, this is
Okay, if you make me pick 3, the top 3, I'm going to choose Thailand, Italy, and North Korea.
Italy, I can see. Thailand, I can see. North Korea, sorry.
I had a wonderful time in North Korea.
Switzerland. I can understand you had a wonderful time, but I just couldn't put North Korea.
Scenery, Switzerland is number 1 or number 2 as far as scenery, mountains.
All right, listen.
It's gorgeous.
I got to get to these comments here. Bali or Indonesia proper? I did spend a lot of time in Indonesia proper, and I also went to damn it, what's the name of the place? It's in both Malaysia and Indonesia. Borneo. I went to Indonesia and Borneo, and I love that. Oh, thank you very much, Niall. Choke D, man. Hope you're doing well. Have a beer for me. I will do that. Choke D. Let me see here. Yeah, and so Indonesia, I really liked. I did like Borneo, but you know what? I love Bali. I loved it. I thought Bali was like the bomb. I mean, really, I thought it was better than, really better than even some of the places I went here and some of the islands here. I mean, many of the islands here. I thought Bali was head and shoulders above. It was just such a cool place. Stream is too long, like my Aardvark's double member. Sorry you feel that way, buddy. Switzerland, an Irish beer. Good Irish beer would do me good, but I'm on the strict diet. Five of these bottles yesterday. Anyway, yeah, we gotta get out of here. I've gone like an hour over the time that I wanted to go, but these things happen. It's a little bit different than just talking about the Rona. So I hope you guys had some fun and enjoyed it. Take care, Carlos. Take care, everybody. Chuck, thank you for the spirited discussion. You said Thailand, North Korea, and
No, Thailand, Italy, North
Italy,
Korea.
and North Korea. What about Ireland?
It's okay.
My mother loved Ireland, honestly, and actually,
I didn't love Ireland.
She liked India better than she liked Nepal, which I found really hard to understand. But Tony G wants to know one last thing here. He want to know: did you book through Koiro Tours for North Korea?
Yes, I did Choreo Tours.
Oh, you did?
Highly recommend it. Okay. Simon is the general manager. I forgot his last name, but he's British. Choreo Tours is owned by British people, and they go with you on the tour. So my tour had about 40 people, and 4 of them were North Koreans, and the other tour guides were British. So they're with you.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate it, and I want you guys to have a nice day, nice night, whatever. Stay safe in your quarantine. If you're in quarantine, Chucky, be careful about who you speak politics with. In the United States, I think you probably got more of a chance of having a problem than you do here in Thailand. But listen, it was fun talking to you again and putting you on here, and hopefully we'll have some other guests every once in a while as well. That's all I have. So please remember to leave a thumbs up. Let me see if I can turn this little thing on. Yeah, leave a thumbs up. Crush that like button. Don't forget about the shirts. Get 10% off, man. I mean, they're like $22, and some of them are like $20. Plus, if you're in the United States, the shipping is like $5 or something. It's not that bad. So, it's a nice thick shirt, good quality, and there's a bunch of them, bunch of different ones. You don't have to have an American in Bangkok. Although it is, Independence Day. If you're an American, you might want to consider picking one up. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you very much, Chuck. Thanks again, and I will talk to you soon. All right? So
Fundy. Rock na jup jup.
Rock, yeah. You could say Kwam Fundy.
Kwam Fundy? What does that mean?
It's like, have a very nice dream.
Kwam Fundy.
Yeah,
I like that.
Fundy is a dream.
Right. Yes.
And Kwam Fundy would be to have like an excellent dream.
Oh wow!
Very
cool.
Very nice dream.
Cool. Kwam Fundy.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you later, Chucky.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. So there you go. Another stream in the books. That was fun and spirited. And we didn't talk too much about the virus, which is great. So that's all I have. Keep watching. Leave a thumbs up. Subscribe. All that good stuff. And until next time, I'm Scott. I am an American in Bangkok. Choke the Leo jerkin my. That's good luck and see you later. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Happy 4th. Yes. Jerkin the gherkin. All right. I'll talk to you later. Arrivederci.